Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in our newsrooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.
Apple Max. Take it to the max.
It is your right.
In my family, we strive to be responsible in order to ensure the well-being of our family. In the same way, I encourage my family to vote because it's their responsibility to do so as citizens.
That's right. It is our responsibility to elect our leaders without influence from our families or anyone else.
You have the right to vote. Use it.
We will vote.
Will you?
Vote in the presidential election on the 20th of January 2015, starting from 06 hours to 18 hours. Carry your voters and green national registration card to be able to vote. The Electoral Commission of Zambia. Your vote, your right, your voice. Support peaceful elections.
Want to just get out of town with your friends and family? Are you having a corporate getaway and have no adequate transport? Then this here is what you need to listen to. A brand new 35-seater Yutong luxury bus is now up for hire at an affordable and negotiable rate. It comes fully equipped with aircon, TV for your relaxation, music soothing your trip, and DVD players to give you variety. Book now by calling 0955 0966 or 977 844 141.
What makes the new Yo-Yo Chipsy so unique? 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. Chipsy potato chips. We know you'll love them.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
3 years ago, they persuaded Zambians that they need to change their government. They promised more money in your pocket, lower taxes, new jobs, new constitution in 90 days, Barotse land within 90 days. Zambia decided to give them a chance. Only 3 years later, Zambians are living in a nightmare. Wato Nabubunda.
Is this what PF meant when they said we shall have money in our pocket? Is this what you voted for? Milimil has gone up by 100%. The salaries for our civil servants have been stagnant because of the wage freeze. The small businesses, called the Tamangas, are crying for more money in their pockets. Under my leadership as president, you will expect lower cost of milimil, lower cost of fuel, mandatory education for all of our children, good agricultural policies, public health priority, and I shall restore the subsidies that were removed by the PF government in order to make life easier for the poor people in our country. My name is Nevers Mumba. I'm running for president.
Vote MMD. Vote Nevers Sequila Mumba on 20th January 2015 for a new hope for Zambia.
Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much for joining us for Prime Television's main news. The headlines. Winter Kabimba accuses PF of hypocrisy over Rupia Banda. Criminals rob Vera Chiluba school, leaving one teacher raped. Fuel prices reduced. And in international news, images show scale of Boko Haram devastation. My name is Martha Namanja to present the news, and now the details. Criminals have robbed and gun-raped a teacher and her daughter of Vera Chiluba Primary School in Lusaka. The criminals who broke in the school in the early hours of Thursday morning went away with various school property and household items worth millions of kwacha. Police have since launched a manhunt for the criminals. We have more in the following report. As a school gets to be robbed, but for Vera Chiluba Primary School in Lusaka's Helen Kaunda, the unforeseen has happened. Armed criminals broke into the school and got away with various property such as computers and money worth over 6,500 kwacha. As if what they got was not enough, the criminals later broke into the senior teacher's house, where they gun-raped the teacher and her daughter and got away with property worth millions of kwacha. Narrating the ordeal to Prime TV, a visibly shaken senior teacher who survived the incident said about 5 criminals broke in around 01 and only left around 03 hours after beating and gun-raping her fellow teacher and her daughter.
They came around the 0102, I'm not sure, because I was asleep. They have taken all the plates which they were there, the food which were there, the TV, the DVD, all the plates. You can see even everything there. There were even dinner sets somewhere there which were just put. Yes.
And the son to the raped victim was lost for words as the incident happened in his few view.
Coming from using the front door, they got into my room, they slapped me, and then they tied my hands tightly. There were about 3 who were in my bedroom here, and this is the mess that I've caused.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Education spokesperson Hilary Chipango shared these views on behalf of the ministry.
We are striving very hard to equip these learning institutions with modern or state-of-art equipment, because you are sure that almost all computers that are used in the ICT department have actually been stolen, putting it very difficult for the teachers to teach as well as the learners to learn that particular kind of language. On the side of the teacher and the daughter, it's also very, very sad. In the actual fact, we can state that that is very retrogressive to us, and it's very regrettable that such a thing can happen in this modern era.
Police acting spokesperson Esther Mwatakatongo says police has since launched a manhunt for the criminals.
Primary school. So when they invaded the school, they went to one of the staff there's house, where they broke into the house and they raped 2. We are not going to mention the names. They raped 2 there and then stole some household goods valued at 21,740 kwacha. Then they also went to the office of the evening classes coordinator, where they stole money amounting to 6,500 kwacha. They also went to an ICT classroom, where they stole some computers there, although we have not yet established the value. Apparently, after raping the victims at this one staff's residence, they locked the victims in the house and the thieves went away with the keys. Yes. As police, we have instituted investigations into the matter, and once we make headways, we are going to communicate to you.
The victims have been admitted to Chainama and Levi Mwanawasa hospitals. This is one of the incidents that has fully exposed how vulnerable women are in terms of a robbery. Martha Namanje, Prime TV News, Lusaka. Rainbow Party President Winter Kawimba says it is a serious contradiction by the Patriotic Front PF to incorporate a person like former President Rupiah Banda in their campaigns after accusing him of corruption. Mr. Kawimba, a former Minister of Justice and PF Secretary General, explains that there is no justification for the ruling party to embrace a person whom they drag to court on account of being corrupt. He says such an action shows that the PF were not sincere in their accusations of the former president of being corrupt. Mr. Kawimba said this in an interview with Prime TV News in Lusaka.
After being away on the political scene for some time following his dismissal from government by President Michael Sata, Winter Kawimba is slowly getting back into the system. This follows the formation of his own political party called the Rainbow Party after falling out with the PF. Mr. Kawimba explains that his decision to leave the PF was due to the high levels of indiscipline, regionalism and corruption within the ruling party.
I'm saying there is no doubt that the PF has transformed itself into a regional party. And what has disappointed me, moderator, is that this is the same political party that was vilifying another political party for being tribal, for being regional, and I just couldn't live with that high level of hypocrisy.
Regarding the issue of the constitution, Mr. Kawimba says it was not his program, but that of government, saying he had little to do, as he was just working under instructions from the president and cabinet as a whole.
You know, the issue of the constitution making process is a government program. It was not my program as Winter Kawimba and as Minister of Justice. It is a government program. And I could only do that which the government and cabinet directed me to do. There is no doubt that we need a new constitution as Zambians.
On the economic front, Mr. Kawimba says Zambia is yet to attain economic emancipation due to bad leadership, urging Zambians to vote out people who have failed to honor their promises.
The electorate also has a chance to apply sanctions for unfulfilled campaign promises. I think it's high time, that the Zambian people sent a clear message to political parties that you shall not come to us, ride on our backs, get yourselves into government, make yourselves rich as we grow poorer ourselves, and then you can come back at any time, buy Chitenga materials for us, buy packets of sugar for us, buy packets of us, packets of salt, and get into the rhetoric again.
On those taking part in the presidential by-election, Mr. Kawimba says they have failed to tackle core issues affecting Zambia, but merely scratching on what they would do once voted into office.
This is a very interesting campaign in the history of our country, in the sense that what we have heard so far from all the candidates really does not give us any direction for this country. I have not listened to any candidate that is dealing with the major social and economic issues.
Kalan Muchimba, reporting for Prime TV News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Mr. Kawimba has explained that he could not stand being in the PF due to high levels of indiscipline and corruption. He says the party has lost the core values it was anchored on, accusing other people of hijacking it. Appearing on a live Pan-African radio program on Thursday morning, Mr. Kawimba said this is the more reason why he did not want to continue associating himself with the PF.
Or the government that moved the motion to strip Comrade Arabi of his immunity should be the same government today and the same political party that thinks that he is the best person to work with. How my colleagues in in the PF are able to reconcile that contradiction, I have no idea.
Would you have supported that if you are still in the...
Obviously, what I'm saying is that I wouldn't have supported it.
Thank you.
Because that's why I'm referring to it as a contradiction.
The Energy Regulations Board, ERB, has reduced the pump price of petroleum products by 2 kwacha 29 ingwe for petrol, 2 kwacha 59 ingwe for diesel, and 2 kwacha 8 ingwe for kerosene. The reduction translates into 23.13%, 28.22%, and 30.76% respectively. Wholesale prices of petroleum products have been reduced by 35.93%, effective midnight 16th January 2015. The reduction comes as a result of the fall in world oil prices. The cost of each feedstock cargo is mainly affected by global crude oil prices and the exchange rate of kwacha to the United States dollars. This is according to a statement made available to Prime TV by ERB Board Chairman Geoff Mwape. The Ministry of Health and ER24 of South Africa have signed a memorandum of understanding that will improve emergency rescue system in the country. Speaking during the signing ceremony, Minister of Health Permanent Secretary Dave Chikamata says the system will also strengthen house and international evacuation efficiency. Dr. Chikamata adds that the Ministry of Health has seen an increase in demand for emergency air rescue services within the country. He says the ministry is working towards rebranding and capitalizing on the Zambian field delivery services so that it becomes a leading aero medical service provider. He says the partnership of ER24 will greatly improve on its air rescue operations.
At this important event with the Ministry of Health and ER24, Emergency Medical Services of South Africa, we will be signing a memorandum of understanding for the consultation and overseeing of setting up an international standard air ambulance service and the continuous training program for responders and healthcare providers in Zambia. This occasion is indeed a significant milestone in the improvement and delivery of aero medical services in our country, because part of ER24 Emergency Medical Services vision is to provide real help and real fast, and this signifies efficiency, which is highly valued in the public service of any country.
Prime Television's main news with me, Martha Namanje. As we take a break, here are the headlines again. Winter Kawimba accuses PF of hypocrisy over Rupia Banda. Criminals robbed Vera Chiluba School, leaving one teacher raped, and fuel prices reduced. More coming up after the break.
Madam, nisiriza manze.
No problem. It's very busy here.
Yeah, my sister. Pamangala busy. Since you are nakuziwa kapena nzaka vota kwa presidential elections.
Huh? Don't tell me. You can't afford to miss out on your right to vote. Elections are a time for you to choose a leader of your choice.
Your boy, Suzy, but voting is important.
You need to vote if you want to put a leader of your choice in power.
Oh, okay. But for many makamba for panga sense. Anyway, since voting doesn't maningi time, your car is ready.
Zikomo, the car looks great. I'll bring it here again for another wash.
No problem. As long as it is not on 20th January, because I'll be voting.
Vote in the presidential election on the 20th of January 2015, starting from 06 hours to 18 hours. Carry your voters and green national registration card to be able to vote. The Electoral Commission of Zambia. Your vote, your right, your voice. Support peaceful elections.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. ZESCO, powering the nation.
What's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch.
We now continue with the Prime Television's main news. The government has expressed concern with the continued use of tribal statements in the run-up to the January 2015 presidential elections. In a statement to Prime TV, Information Minister and Chief Government Spokesperson Dr. Joseph Katema says it is important that political actors realize that tribalism being exhibited in the campaigns has the potential to undermine the unity and coexistence the country has enjoyed over the last 50 years. He says Zambia is bigger than any individual, political party or tribe, and therefore this election should not in any way be used as a conduit for tribalism. Government has further reminded all those campaigning on tribal lines that Zambia is a democracy and people have the right to choose a leader of their choice regardless of tribe. Government has further urged the media not to promote tribal talk by ignoring those whose campaigns are premised on tribalism. Kabwata aspiring candidate Clement Tembo has also added that it is a shame for elderly people like Southern Province Minister Daniel Munkombwe to be issuing tribal sentiments. Mr. Tembo has since called on youth to arise and reject any cause that would divide the country that has seen and enjoyed inter-tribe relations for over 50 years. Meanwhile, Mr. Tembo has urged presidential aspirants to concede defeat to anyone that will be elected president in the next week's presidential election. He has stressed that the one that will emerge winner of the election should be given due respect as the results will reflect the views of the electorates.
Way we can have, these tired recycled politicians, coming to tell us that we should vote, based on tribal lines. So to you young people that are listening and watching this interview, it is your time that you need to rise up. This is an opportunity. This is a sign that, our grandfathers have gotten tired. They've been in the system over, 40. Now this is 50 years after independence. We need to have new leaders coming on board so that we offer fresh ideas and new ideas. We will never stop sounding monotonous because young people are the ones that are supposed to take up leadership in Zambia. And, further to that, allow me to call upon all the participating, political parties, including their leaders, that let them concede defeat at the end of the counting of the last paper. If you lose the elections, concede defeat, there's always next time. We can take leave from the late President Michael Chilufya Sata. He lost a lot of elections, and the most bitter, I mean, the bitter one was 2008. But he had to wait for the next 2 years. Let whoever is going to lose, just tools down and say, let us work hard, go to the grassroots, encourage people to follow you once again. It's just 18 months. Let the peace that we have enjoyed prevail in Zambia.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has intensified its campaigns, taking it to Mwembeshi, where hundreds of supporters gathered to listen to what UPND would do if they voted into office. UPND Party Secretary General Winston Chibwe, who led some party officials, say it is the mandate and responsibility of the UPND to give farming inputs and reduce the cost of living. He says the UPND will fulfill its promises if elected into office within a short period of time and immediately reduce the cost of living once voted into office. And UPND Chairman for Security Captain Mono has urged all people in Mwembeshi to vote for the UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema because he understands farming. Captain Mono says Mr. Hichilema is a successful farmer and businessman both locally and internationally, and he knows what he is promising the Zambian people, and he will surely fulfill it.
Wakainde swazafuna kuti vaziangana patumba yao tuvuwe tumba yao ilikale yokwana Zambia Stifuna una ulendo kukangena sapo msogoleri wakuta akafika kuja sopano pamena hapo ayamba kuyangana tumba yake.
Next week all of you must walk a mass to go and vote for Hakainde Hichilema. Kuima candidates bali 11 banda kuvoterwa munzi mu Tuesday temuli mulizo.
Mufurila District Commissioner Chanda Kabwe has commended government for the first ultra-modern referral hospital under construction in Mufurila. Mr. Kabwe says Mufurila is moving miles ahead in health development because the hospital, once completed, will cater for the rising population of the mining and border town, which has only 2 hospitals, namely Kamuchunga and Ronald Rose, respectively. He has also commended government for working hard towards the delivery of good health services to the people, saying a healthy citizenry is a meaningful citizenship to society. The district hospital located in Kamuchunga Township will be constructed by Mercury Lines Limited and will global 13 million kwacha, and it will be completed in March 2016. New Revolution Party President Cosmo Mumba has urged the Zambian police to be alert ahead of the presidential election. Dr. Mumba states that in the few weeks remaining, a number of issues might happen, such as violence, hence the need for the police to be on standby and alert. He notes with sadness the continued reports of violence among political parties, especially between the opposition UPND and the ruling PF. And Dr. Mumba has condemned the UPND for taking the law into their own hands by impounding trucks suspected to be carrying pre-marked ballot papers. He says that is the job of the police and not political cadres. Dr. Mumba said this in an interview in Lusaka with Prime TV.
I want the Electoral Commission of Zambia to be a little bit stubborn and follow the Electoral Code of Conduct. They cannot allow useless people from UPND to capture their car and start searching. Those people were supposed to go and report ECZ if they suspected anything to the police, and the police was supposed to do its job. Now, if political party cadres should start investigating vehicles and immediately impound and investigate, then they are taking over the role of the police. So I'm appealing to Dr. J and Madam Stella Gongan and the all security wings of this country. I think let's be alert.
Would like to apologize for that wrong name tag. That was Dr. Cosmo Mumba, NRP President, and not Margaret Mumba. You're still watching Prime Television's main news. We'll now take a break. Join me after that with a roundup of international news.
3 years ago, they persuaded Zambians that they need to change their government. They promised more money in your pocket, lower taxes, new jobs, new constitution in 90 days, Barotse land within 90 days. Zambia decided to give them a chance. Only 3 years later, Zambians are living in a nightmare. Uwato Nabubunda.
Is this what PF meant when they said we shall have money in our pocket? Is this what you voted for? Milimil has gone up by 100%. The salaries for our civil servants have been stagnant because of the wage freeze. The small businesses, called the Tamangas, are crying for more money in their pockets. Under my leadership as president, you will expect lower cost of milimil, lower cost of fuel, mandatory education for all of our children, good agricultural policies, public health priority, and I shall restore the subsidies that were removed by the PF government in order to make life easier for the poor people in our country. My name is Nevas Mumba. I'm running for president.
Vote MMD. Vote Nevas Sequila Mumba on 20th January 2015 for a new hope for Zambia.
Thank you and God bless you.
Apple Max. Take it to the max.
Wow, I can't wait for the midterm break. I'll sleep the whole day.
I'll be doing the opposite, staying up all night and playing video games.
Wow, you two have big plans, hey? I'll be going back home where I registered so I can take part in the presidential election on the 20th of January.
Wow, Lisa, why are you such a boring dog? Why'd you bother about such things? Leave it to the old people. We're young.
And that's exactly why we should vote. We're the future of Zambia, and the elections will give us a chance to vote for a president of our own choice. And this president will also address issues that we face as youth.
Okay, but she has a point. Imagine if more young people voted, okay? Our leaders would then realize how important we are to the nation, and then solve more of our issues.
Well, you see, as much as I hate to admit it, I think you both, what I've said, makes a lot of sense. I'm left with no choice but to consider it.
Vote in the presidential election on the 20th of January 2015, starting from 06 hours to 18 hours. Carry your voters and green national registration card to be able to vote. The Electoral Commission of Zambia. Your vote, your right, your voice. Support peaceful elections.
What makes the new Yo-Yo Chipsy so unique? 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. Chipsy potato chips. We know you'll love them.
masata nina ni matushira niwete karongo batusira muteni kumulu nachonga kodo niwete karongo batupera chibi kwa kale kateka nilungu niwete karongo batupera uyulungu ni chocho uliawine wasalilwe ele omose afine leke nilungu atusende pamwa.
Opening of new districts and the opening of roads and canals in Western Province is intended to make production cheaper. Amalaiti ngayaka mumishi. It means in the Nakalagaya Wangu. Lavine Gumishi, no Shiabashi, and whatever your bunga was.
In international news, a human rights group, Amnesty International, has released satellite images showing what it says is undisputable and shocking evidence of the scale of last week's attack on 2 Nigerian towns by Boko Haram fighters. Both before and after images of 2 neighboring towns, Baga and Dorogowan in northern Nigeria, taken on January 2nd and 7th, shows the devastating effect of the attack, which left more than 3,700 structures damaged. Last week, the human rights group noted reports of as many as 2,000 dead. The Nigerian military has cited a figure of 150 dead, including slain fighters. Charlie Hebdo has made a defiant return with a new issue that sold out across France in record time, as Al-Qaeda posted a video claiming last week's deadly attack on its cartoonist. The satirical weekly once again featured what the artist said was the Prophet Muhammad on its cover, but with a tear in his eye, holding a Jesuit's Charlie signed under the headline, "All is forgiven." About 700,000 copies were released and sold on Wednesday as part of the print run that was eventually total 5 million. Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch claimed responsibility for the attack by gunmen on the Paris offices of the weekly last Wednesday that left 12 people dead, including some of the country's best-loved cartoonists. For more on these and other stories, we monitored Al Jazeera.
Amnesty International has released satellite images showing the devastating scale of attacks by Boko Haram on 2 towns in northern Nigeria. Homes and businesses in the towns of Baga and Dorombaga were destroyed by the armed group last week. Well, there's been renewed fighting between ISIL and Peshmerga fighters near Sinjar and the Mosul Dam. A top U.S. official leading the fight against ISIL says more training is needed to retake Mosul. Funerals will be held for 4 victims of the attack on the office of Charlie Hebdo. They include those for artist and caricaturist Bernard Vuliac, also known as Tinu, and his colleague Georges Wolinski. They were among the 12 who were killed in the shooting. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has expressed her government's solidarity with France in the wake of attacks which killed 17 people last week. She told the parliament that additional measures are being considered against those who would seek to support groups like Al-Qaeda or ISIL.
Deutschland und Frankreich verbindet eine besondere Freundschaft.
We are shocked by the deaths of these innocent people, which were caused by international terrorism. France and Germany have a special friendship. We're standing together now in these difficult times. If there's no security in Germany, then there's no security in France, and vice versa.
And a 20-year-old man has been arrested in the U.S. for an alleged plot to attack the U.S. Capitol building and kill government employees. The FBI arrested Christopher Lee Cornell in the state of Ohio earlier on Wednesday. Finally, pictures coming to you now from the Philippines, where Pope Francis is about to touch down on the second leg of his week-long trip in Asia. He'll be treated to a rousing reception in the capital, Manila. The pontiff is expected to attract crowds rivaling the 5 million people who greeted Pope John Paul II in 1995. Church officials say the Pope's visit is a mercy and compassion trip.
As we end the news, we take a look at the headlines yet again. Winter Kabimba accuses PF of hypocrisy over Rupia Banda. Criminals rob Vera Chiluba school, leaving one teacher raped. Fuel prices reduced. And in international news, images show scale of Boko Haram devastation. That's all we had on our main news bulletin. My name is Martha Namanje, and on behalf of the entire news production team, it's goodbye for now and enjoy the rest of our programming.
Hi, I was just checking up some information on the Electoral Commission of Zambia website. Did you know that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has set January 20th, 2015 as the date for the presidential election? Remember that in order to vote, you'll need your green national registration card and your voter's card. Voting is the constitutional right of every Zambian citizen. Exercise your right by voting for the presidential candidate of your choice on January 20th, 2015.
Vote in the presidential election on the 20th of January 2015, starting from 06 hours to 18 hours. Carry your voters and green national registration card to be able to vote. The Electoral Commission of Zambia. Your vote, your right, your voice. Support peaceful elections.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. ZESCO, powering the nation.